Meeting someone new in the ICU. My fiance, Ashley, has just called me. She's in tears, which is rare for her. Ash has informed me that her Graham is in the ICU. Though this is not Graham's first time in the ICU, her frightful night of no breathing and high blood pressure got the best of her, and she's in the hospital again. I've never met Graham, but I've heard many tales of what a wonderful woman she is, and I've seen pictures of her and her giant, beautiful smile. Ash wants to go visit her and leave tonight. This is going to be a 6.5 hour journey to Reading, Pennsylvania, and we shall head east at 4 p.m. I need to tell my supervisor that I cannot come into work tomorrow, which is going to piss him off, but family comes first. I've punched out, my shift is over, let's do this. I'm home from work now, and I have 20 minutes to get ready before takeoff. I guess I'll just throw one change of clothes and toiletries into my raggedy book bag. Ash should be here any minute now. My heart is nervous and my mind is on hyperspeed. I don't know this woman, and my first time meeting her will be in the ICU. This is awkward. But it's not about me. This is about a woman's health and my future family. My family isn't very close, so this is new to me. I'll just let my legs bounce up and down on this piano bench while I wait for Ash's little silver hatchback to whip into my tiny, dirty, leaf-filled gravel driveway. Ash is running late, which is fine. This allows more time for my anxiety to rise. Alas, I see her little car now. I'll run outside before she can get out of her car. Maybe she'll think I'm ready to do this, and I'll earn some bonus points. Stop. This isn't about me. We'll take my white Pontiac Vibe, the greatest car in the world. I need an oil change. The check engine light is on, and I have no gas, so we're probably screwed. That's fine. I'll just have a panic attack and vomit, but I'll get gas first. I've got Radiohead and Seawolf in my CD player, and hopefully this music will help me calm down. I need my anxiety to go down right now. According to Dr. Mandy Fry, who wrote A Practice Nurse Guide to Common Mental Health Problems, Anxiety Disorders, Fry writes, in each instance, the person involved tends to respond by trying to avoid situations that provoke these situations. Fry 2015. This is exactly what is going on with me. Now I must rely on prayer and music, because like it or not, it's time to hit the road. As we begin to drive, Ash seems like she's in better spirits. The tone of her voice has lightened up, and her eyes aren't so heavy. For all I know, her anxiety could be just as high as mine, because she is great at hiding her emotions. Ash grabs my 3G Android smartphone to get the GPS going. The directions pop up, and the estimated arrival time is 6.5 hours. I've never driven that far before. I know I'm going to need lots of coffee to make this possible. The first rest stop we found had a Starbucks inside, and I got a venti black coffee with 3 shots of espresso. Coffee is the sweet, sweet nectar of life, and will be my best friend for this trip. According to Nils Olakons and Peter Bardsley, who wrote Rational Addiction to Caffeine, an analysis of coffee consumption, when talking about caffeine, Olakons and Bardsley write that it's the most widely used psychoactive substance in the world. Olakons and Bardsley, 1996. I feel like as long as I have the psychoactive substance in my veins, we will make it. We're lost. This is the thing that I hate about driving in the hills of Pennsylvania. There aren't any road signs, just a wicked sharp turn here or there that will lead to more nameless roads. Ash and I are pissed off at each other. We've been driving for 6 hours. It's getting late and we are tired. Somehow, we are still an hour away from the hospital where Graham is. Once we figure out where we are, Ash realizes that we are really close to her Aunt Sue and Uncle Gordon's house. She calls them to ask if we can sleep at their place for the night. I've never met them in my life, and I knew this was going to be yet another awkward experience. Uncle Gordon is a doctor, and the second we pull into their long winding driveway, I think that he's got to be one serious doctor. This house is huge. The outside of the house is lit up from under the pitch-black Pennsylvania sky. I'm nervous about these folks now. I'm really hoping for a warm welcome. Sure enough, they open the door and greet us with nothing but smiles. Even though they are the only two in the house at the time, they are whispering to us. All I can do is smile and try to remain calm. Aunt Sue wants Ash and I to sleep in separate rooms because we are not married. I understand that, but why do I have to be in the only bedroom on the first floor? This room was their daughter's before she got married and moved out, and that was 5 years ago. There are still stuffed animals set up in the room, and the bed has flower printed sheets. I cannot let it consume my thoughts right now. I need sleep, and tomorrow is going to be another crazy day. I woke up and sat in bed and planned on waiting until Ashley texted me. I didn't want to be the first one up, walk into the kitchen, and talk to these people that I had just met for 5 minutes last night. Ash came and creeped into the room. I could now breathe easy. Uncle Gordon and Aunt Sue had already left for work before we got up. They left us a full pot of coffee, and I will forever be grateful for that. I feel better this morning. I know we only have an hour left of driving, and there is no getting out of this trip now. I need to get over myself and let my selfishness leave. I'm still blown away by the dedication and love this family has for each other. This is very hard to take in and understand, but it is interesting to witness. I know it's going to take me a long time to get into the feeling of a big and loving family, but it's something I've wanted deep down inside. Today is going to be a good day. We will press on and visit this dear, sweet Graham. This drive is going by quickly. The sun is rising over the misty hills that roll over the Pennsylvania countryside. My travel mug is huge and filled to the brim with delicious, strong, and the bitter taste of expensive coffee. My soul is warm. I have my future wife next to me. Mellow instrumental music is playing on a light volume, and Ashley and I are both smiling. There is a feeling of love and hope between us. I don't want this feeling to end. We have happiness and thankfulness as well. We got to sleep in a mansion last night. It is amazing to me that Ash could call half an hour before we could get to her aunt and uncle's house to see if we could sleep there for the night, and they had no problem with it. This is the meaning of family. The hospital is in sight, and Ashley's Aunt Brenda and Uncle Merle will meet us there in the parking lot to show us where the infamous Graham is. Again, we are greeted by warm smiles and genuine kindness. This family is wonderful. We all pile into the elevator, and no one is saying much. What kind of small talk would you have in an elevator on your way to see a woman hooked up to a bunch of tubes and machines in the ICU? The elevator opens, and we are led by a nurse to Graham's room. When we walk in, she is completely taken by surprise. She had no idea that we were coming. I saw the enormous grin that I've seen in pictures before. Graham is a large woman with gray, short, curly hair. She has a warm demeanor about her. She is so thankful that we made the trip up to see her. All I can do is smile. I don't say much, but I take it all in. Graham was ready to get out of there. She wanted to rip out the tubes that were hooked up to her right then and there. I can see where Ashley gets her strong-willed personality. The doctors estimate that she will be out in a few days at the least. This woman can't get out of here soon enough. We stay for 45 minutes. Aunt Brenda does most of the talking, and I don't quite remember the whole conversation. The part of our visit that stood out to me was the cheer and determination that Graham had in her voice. Being in the ICU seemed like no big deal to her, where if it was me, I would be scared out of my mind. We say our goodbyes. Graham looks at me and tells me that she loves me. I was shocked. Not a bad shock, but I felt confused and happy. I told her that I loved her as well. This is family. I'm excited that I get to know her more in the future, and am glad to call her my Graham. I could tell that Ashley had a great peace about her, too. The tension from her shoulders was lifted, and her beautiful grin shined brightly. This is a moment that I will never forget. Ash and I hop in the car for the long journey home. As we begin to drive, I found a Bob Dylan mix CD that I had and put it in the CD player. A few tracks in, the song "The Times They Are A-Changing" comes on. The song really struck a chord with me. The times were indeed changing. I was headed into a new time of my life where I would be entering a new family. This is a whole nother journey in itself. The lyric that got me, as Bob Dylan writes, "Then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone." Bob Dylan, 1964. This is true. I need to dive into this family and swim in the acceptance and love that they have for one another and the acceptance and love that they have for me. I must embrace it, or I will sink. This journey changed me for the good. Not only did it show me how close this family was, but it gave me the confidence in the meaning of what a family is and what they do for each other. For this, I am truly blessed. This journey of family life will always continue, and throughout all the struggles or doubts, I will be along for the ride.